All right, I wasn't gonna do this video, but I decided I probably should because I just finished listening to the new Vampire Weekend record and it's incredible. I'm blown away, so I want to talk about it. And I didn't want to do a full video because I just finished editing the B side for tomorrow. So I figured right now I'll just kind of hop on live and talk about what I think of the record. Matthew just came in and said, "Holy shit, it's amazing!" And guess what? He's right. Before I dive into this, how is the audio and video quality? Is this good to go for me to just start talking for like 10 minutes straight? Do we sound and look good? Cool. It's good. All right. So, yeah, I've done these first impression reviews on the channel for years and years now. And I wanted to do one really fast that didn't require me to actually edit. So I'm just stream of consciousness, my thoughts, and I'll try to respond to some comments if you guys are talking about the album. That's pretty much all we're going to be talking about in this shorter, truncated live stream. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. Please make sure you're subscribed. I talk about vinyl and music all the time. I've been around for over 4 years, and I'd love to have you as part of the team. So yeah, most of the singles they put out in the context of the record, the singles are even better. And I really wasn't sure what to expect. I've had a really strong history with this band. I can remember the first time I heard Cape Cod Kwasa Kwasa. I was lying on my friend's rug in his beach house in summer, and it absolutely blew me away. Fell in love with that record. I remember driving around when Contra came out, the day it came out, with my buddy Mikey, just driving all around our town in New Jersey listening to it. I remember when Modern Vampires of the City came out, and I was just incredibly impressed by Ezra's songwriting ability and how much he has improved in terms of crafting really unique arrangements and complex songs. And this album, I wasn't sure what to expect. It was long, 18 songs, almost an hour long, but it kept my attention the entire time, and there was very little to be upset about and a lot to really be impressed by. So what I like about this album is the theme of it is kind of the impermanence of love, how love can be so confusing and scary, but ultimately when it's real, it's beautiful, and you kind of fight beyond all of those fears and whatnot. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about this record and dive in. What's up, Ryan? What's up, both Ryans? Two Ryans at once. All right, so the album begins with Hold You Now featuring Daniel Haim from Haim. And honestly, the Daniel Haim contributions on this record were good, but I don't know if they were all needed. I feel like some of the tracks with her were a little too cowboy-y at times, with that kind of like Western drawl. I like when Daniel Haim does more Stevie Nicks than more country, and this was a little more country on her end. But regardless, this first track was such a beautiful intro to the album, Hold You Now. I loved when they kick in with kind of like the chorus of the choir. It's kind of singing of the young kids, it sounds like. And I love the glitchy parts of this song that make it a little less than straightforward. But what I also love the most is that this 3-song run I'm about to talk about was unbelievable. The run from Hold You Now into Harmony Hall is breathtaking. Hold You Now is the perfect prologue to what I think is top 3 song on the album, Harmony Hall. This was the first song that they put out for the Father of the Bride sessions, and this is easily one of my favorite songs of the year and a top 3, like I said, on the album itself. Something about this song just really strikes me. It incorporates all the elements of the previous 3 albums that I really love and brings it together in this singable, danceable, vibable song that just really hits you in the feels. It's absolutely terrific. I can talk about Harmony Hall all day, but there's like 16 more songs to talk about. Bambina, after that, is the most Vampire Weekend-esque song on the album. It really harkens back to some of those Contra and self-titled sounds. It's short, it's sweet, and I love it. And it ends that kind of initial run that kind of drives you into the album where This Life follows up. This Life was another single that they did release prior to the album, along with the follow-up to that, Big Blue. This Life is a beautiful kind of like sad song. It has like kind of intense lyrics. I've been cheating on you. You've been cheating on me. It's kind of like, I feel like I have to dive in more lyrically to this record to really understand all of the themes beyond the obvious discussion of the power of love in a non-cheesy way. But yeah, This Life and Big Blue are both really great tracks. And then How Long was the first real track that was kind of a full meaty track that I hadn't heard yet. And I thought How Long was terrific. I actually re-listened to part of it after the album finished to remember. I was like, was that one I really liked? And it really was. Just another great song for this album. And then Unbearably White was another single they released. I really like this track. Again, just like really cool, calm, laid back. Ezra at his just like dripping with confidence and just kind of like his smooth, sultry, buttery, deep drawl where he's not scream singing. He's just kind of like, you know, keeping it casual. And I love that. Pardon me. This is my first impression video where I haven't written notes. So I'm kind of just going off what I remember from the first listen. So hope this is remotely interesting for you guys. But Rich Man was the first song that kind of surprised me sonically. I think it has a fiddle in there somewhere. It's definitely, it kind of goes all over the place. I like the track, but that's another one I'm going to have to dive back into. And that leads into almost perfectly with the transition, Married in a Gold Rush, another Daniel Haim featured track. This one was good too. I don't know if I have too much to say about that. My mistake following that up. I read this online after, so I'm going to steal this, but it does sound a lot like Ezra doing his best James Blake impression. It's kind of this like minimal, laid back, kind of simplistic song, and very atmospheric at the same time. It was a good song, but I just want to get past these first 10 tracks so I can talk about track 11, Sympathy. Oh my God. Sympathy, it just bangs so hard. It is the closest thing to like a hip hop track. It kind of channels some of that badass, grimy energy from New Dorp, New York, which was a track that he did with Subtract, this really good electronic group if you haven't heard them. Sympathy is the best song on the album, I think. Harmony Hall, Sympathy, I don't know which one is going to take it for me in the end, but Sympathy, that beat goes so hard, and it's unlike anything Vampire Weekend's ever done before, but yet still feels so distinctly and markedly them, because just Ezra he manages to capture this sound that is album to album different and evolved, but still under the same umbrella of Vampire Weekend. And that's something I really respect from them as a band. Sympathy is it's incredible. And this run of 3 is just as good as the first 3 because it follows up with Sunflower and Flower Moon featuring Steve Lacy. And the guitar work, the bass work, everything on these tracks are just so soulful and funky. And both those, it's very Vampire Weekend at the core of it, very emotional. And that leads into 2021, which is also an emotional track. Short but sweet, 1 minute, 38 seconds. The final run of the album is also quite good. We Belong Together, and the final Daniel Haim featured song on the album is a nice song. Stranger is one of the poppiest songs on the album, and I also think it's one of the better songs on the album. I'd probably put that in my top 5 on first listen. Stranger's it's just a really great, well-crafted song. I wish I could have listened to this 2 or 3 times before doing this first impression, but I'm kind of I was so excited I just wanted to talk about it. And the final 2 tracks, Spring Snow and Jerusalem, New York, Berlin. Spring Snow, I think, is one of those ones that it's going to really grow on me. I love it right off the bat, but I think it's going to be one that people don't talk about as much at first. And I think as people get into the album, they're going to realize how pretty that song really is. And then Jerusalem, New York, Berlin almost has like a Ya Hey kind of feel to it to round out the album. Very beautiful as well. Very much Ezra reflecting. I love the harmonies, especially when they say Berlin. That sent chills up and down my spine. Ultimately, Father of the Bride exceeded all expectations for me. And I was expecting a great album, but what we got is an Album of the Year contender. If I have to give it, as you guys know, my first impression arbitrary score, it's been a minute since I've done one of those. It's probably been since Kids See Ghosts. I'm going to honestly give this a 9 out of 10. The songs that I love are 10s, and the songs that I wasn't as sure about are still 8s or 9s. Ezra has really continued to mature as a songwriter. Obviously, he's taking a lot of influence from the Grateful Dead, on this album, which he toured with Richard Pictures, which is a Grateful Dead cover band. Who I got to see them in Ojai last year. But yeah, this album is truly something special and something that we're really lucky to hear in 2019. And I just cannot wait to get my records in. Obviously, my turntable right now is currently across the country on the East Coast because I am moving from LA to New York. So I moved everything. So I'm not going to be able to spin my Spotify exclusive, the beautiful green and blue split for a couple months. But I think that when I get to my new spot and set up my new studio, I think I'm definitely going to spin this first before anything else. It's this album blew me away, and it's definitely an AOTY contender, as mentioned. Let me see some of these comments. I know this is kind of like a weird impromptu live stream. It's a little dark, I suppose. We got Ryan saying he loves Vampire Weekend. Yes, FOTB. Lisa seeing it at the Hollywood Bowl. That's awesome. Vampire Weekend stays true to their vision and make the music they want. That is absolutely true, Roger. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any other thoughts, has anyone else heard the album? Has anyone else listened? If you're in this live stream and you have not listened to Father of the Bride, it is on Spotify right now. Go listen to it, and then when this video goes live after this stream is done, please leave a comment with your favorite tracks. I really would like to know what you guys thought of Father of the Bride. I don't think I'm overblowing it at all. I think this is a masterful album. I think that if anyone says a lot of negative things about this album, they're just not going to ever be a fan of Vampire Weekend or Ezra or whatever the band does, because this is truly a pinnacle for them. If I had to guess what the needle drop will give it, that's a good question. He's so unpredictable. I don't really watch all of his videos because there's far too many. I'm going to guess that he's going to give it a light 8. Paul, you think A-side is a little draggy? That's tough, man. I think I mentioned earlier in this video, I think A-side is one of the strongest runs of songs that Puerto Rican has ever put together. But yeah, I think I need to listen more. I think I'm just kind of still basking in that Glow Weekend album, a long Vampire Weekend album to sink our teeth into, which is really cool. So yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a beautiful thing. I really hope I get to catch them on this tour. I know they're playing Red Rocks. That would be an absolute dream to be able to see them there. I've never been to Red Rocks. So hopefully I'll be able to make it to that, but we will see. Yeah, so those are first impression thoughts on the album. I kind of just dug a little bit into every song. I will say again, Sympathy is the standout for me. The singles are all some of my favorite songs, and maybe that's because I spent more time with them prior to the album coming out. I'd like to think about in a week spent time with have reached. So we will see. But yeah, so that's my first impression review. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet on this stream, please do so. So maybe YouTube will promote this and share it with all the other Father of the Bride videos that are going to be coming out. This is just a short one. I don't want to make this an hour like my usual streams, but I do have the B-side coming out tomorrow, so look forward to that. It's a really good video. And yeah, like I said, leave comments on this video once it's up with your thoughts on Father of the Bride once you listen. And thank you guys for coming into this mini stream. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I hope tomorrow you guys dig into FOTB as much as I will definitely be doing. So thank you guys for popping into this impromptu first impression live stream. First time I've ever done this, and it's pretty fun. I like it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and look forward to the B-side tomorrow. Take it easy.